Hi friends, and welcome back to Playing Tribute to the Ace Attorney games, where today we are going to be playing tribute to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is on the Switch. I was going to say it was recently released on the Switch, but it's been a while. But I recently got a capture card for my Switch so that I can play it. So, yay! Let's see, hopefully it works. It's a little bit finicky with the sound capture, so you might hear it in the background of my microphone too, because I cannot fix it, because otherwise it'll delay the sound to the what's actually happening, and I'd rather deal with the sound maybe in the background than delayed sound. But anyway, all that being said, The Great Ace Attorney. This is a prequel series. There are 2 games in it, previously not translated to English, so kind of like how Miles Edgeworth recently got the translate of its second game, the translation of the second game. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, a few years ago, had that same treatment. Now, I've only played this game once. Whoops, I did not want to do that. I've only played this game once. As you can see, I finished it in the little bit I just did there. But I watched it once, played through, because there was like a fan translation that I watched through, but that was only the first game. And let me tell you, the cliffhanger, the incomplete storyline of the first game, like, you know how in the Phoenix Wright games, the 3 games, they were a trilogy, but they were, separate from each other. Same with the 3DS trilogy, same with Miles Edgeworth. Like, they were a series, but they were separate from each other. They started and concluded their own storylines. This one doesn't, and you'll see that. So I'm going to treat this as all one big game, even though we've got adventures and we've got resolve. But let's get started. It has been a while since I played an Ace Attorney game. When did I post the Layton game? I don't know. This one has voice acting, though.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Oh, well, there you go.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
A few things I should tell you. I did say this was a prequel series. It takes place a long time ago. The adventure of the Great Departure. I'm gonna let things happen. I'm not gonna say the things that are gonna appear, even though I knew these things before I played them. I'm gonna let you guys experience them. No spoilers here. But I will say that the main character here is supposedly supposed to be, that was redundant, Phoenix Wright's ancestor. So it's like, still Ace Attorney. I have trouble pronouncing his name, so I'm just gonna put that out there now. Here we go. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Oh, there's a little vibration on my Joy-Cons whenever he called me a murderer. Sorry. Alright. I've looked this up so many times. My name is Ryunosuke? I'll do better. Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumai University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. Oh, who's that? Is that... Oh. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer. Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So hold your tongue. Oh, sorry. So you will hold your tongue. He speaks with more authority than that. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. What breeze is blowing the sash around his head? And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Right, Ryunosuke? Sounds like I'm saying RuneScape. Oh, yes, of course, sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Wow, I made his voice so monotone and then he starts laughing. Just like always. It's so fun to be back in the Ace Attorney games. Like the real ones. Like, the Layton one was fine. But this is like true blue Ace Attorney. Love it. Love it. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumei University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. It's not an Ace Attorney game without the main character being accused of crime. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. I hope I pronounced it right, because that actually flowed off my tongue a little bit better. Kazuma Sogai. Oh, wow, I'm going to butcher these Japanese names, because they're actually... I don't think that... Like, these keep their actual Japanese names in this game, because it's very specifically supposed to be Japan, and, you know, feudal... Or not feudal Japan, wow. Victorian... Well, wait. What's the Japan equivalent to Victorian time? It's written somewhere. I'm just gonna stop talking. But it's back in the day. So it's specifically supposed to be Japan, not like this weird merge of Japan and United States that the earlier game. I was gonna say earlier games, but I'm like, oh wait, this is a prequel. But still, earlier games were. I'm wasting time. Let's keep going. Kazuma Asogi? Sure. My best friend. Also in his second year at Yumai University. But he's far more clever than I. Star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. He said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get study abroad to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. That was a lot of words. I'm surprised I didn't trip over them. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. And his head because of the thing that drifts. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. Wish I could see it too. That's why I said Victorian, because the British Empire's part of this too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. I'm trying to differentiate their voices. I lost his monotone. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi? Asogi? How do they... I know that other languages don't have certain phonemes for certain letters. So is it G or Gi? You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. Oh, I have to figure out her voice. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Guess we're just gonna stand here then. Yeah, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right, if I pronounced that name right. Probably didn't. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yumai University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma staying abroad. Asogi... I just totally pronounced it differently that time. Asogi had told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. Wow, pressure is on. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, Naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, "I do." I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant? Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asugi may not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Or must not be the defense lawyer in this trial, so sorry. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. So he thinks that this is a lost cause, because he doesn't want Kazuma to defend us, because he doesn't want Kazuma to lose. I don't know why I'm putting the emphasis on a different thing with Kazuma. I think his name is Kazuma. So sorry. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Jeez. The, animosity is like the, last, Phoenix Wright game. Where it's like, oh yeah, all the defense attorneys are terrible because they defend criminals, blah blah blah. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Oh, look, it's saving. Okay. Now, I remembered him being, like, extremely nervous, but I forgot the exact expression on his face. My gosh, look at this poor kid. He is terrified. So this is a courtroom. I think he's going to hyperventilate, actually. The Supreme Court of Judicature. Judicature? Sure. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Oh, I was wondering about that. I was like, wow, they're all wearing like military hats or something. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. Why? Who was the victim? What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. His name is Ouchie. Like pain. As is the defense. Oh, there's a question. There's a question he's gonna ask. Yeah, here it is. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Wait, who is going to defend me? Normal procedures for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then if I say, I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Well, folks, is this the illusion of choice? Or... Man, I wish I knew what would happen if I said wait and see. Because I don't remember what I answered the last time. I guess I'll have to look it up later. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. Oh, illusion of choice. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? I don't think Kazuma is going to be very happy. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikitoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Oh, something really cool that this game has that I just saw is it has history, so I can see what was said, in case I forget. Or if I, if I accidentally press A too quickly or something.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already, renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Way to twist it, Kazuma. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh. Yes, exactly. I love his face in this trial. It is amazing. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. Oh yeah, that's Phoenix Wright's ancestor right there. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Wow, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Judicature? Judicature. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you've undertaken. Yay. It's tutorial time. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes? Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But... wait. I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. Again, what breeze is happening here? You know me so well. All the relevant information in this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of R. Oh, thank you. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all there. I just have to press R for the court record. Okay. There's no time to lose. Here we go. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with R. Okay? Details about the victim. When you're done, just go back. Okay. John H. Wilson, 47. The victim of this case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at the Yumai University from the British Empire. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Good old tutorial about the court record. Now you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record. Press X to present right now. Okay. And X is this one.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Or is it Ch?
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Yumai University 3 years ago. Is it Yumei? Maybe it's Yumei. Am I pronouncing this wrong the whole time? Yumei. Because that sounds like a pun, too. Like, you may do this. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire. Oh, because it's an international incident. Is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates of the Imperial Yumei University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is so scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. That's a flashback. I guess I didn't have to read it all. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. Oh, he was alive. And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Well, wasn't it a gunshot? I heard a gunshot. See before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Well, obviously, that was... court record! Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. But evidence? But how? Evidence, do it now. Okay. Oh hey, look, proof that I'm a student of the Imperial Yumei University. I was wearing it on the collar of my uniform jacket. Ah, yes. Death occurred a little after 2 and was caused by loss of blood from gunshot to the chest. A bullet did not pass through the victim's body.
Yes!
Yes! I love the outbursts.
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it? Sorry, yes. That's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, so it might not be accurate. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. So-called. Why is he facing away from all the food? Is there anything else weird in there besides his... I don't see anything strange. Looks pretty self-explanatory. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. Oh, so point blank. In other words, we assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The modern scientific evidence. Yeah, for all the, crazy, fantasy-esque elements of earlier games, this is pretty chill as far as, like, realism is concerned. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to the drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. I forgot he does that. It's like the YMCA or something. Does that mean something in Japan? That, like, little dance? I don't know. Certainly, Your Excellency. So without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there when at the scene when the who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikatoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Of course! When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking an oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me will be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. I love how they call out the headband. Cold stares. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. Sure. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Are you quite alright? You seem to be coughing up some, That can't be sanitary. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. I don't think coughing up blood should be a regular occurrence. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. The grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. I forgot that this has some complicated words in it. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident.
At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? Unless you mean Kazuma.
It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There's hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Don't burst out yes at that. Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defended Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with the gun in hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting. But still, what should I do? Well, he's stating something that's false, so...
Yes!
Illusion of choice again? Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Well, Kazuma didn't tell me to wait. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? Yes, I'm not a real lawyer. But I'm sure of what I saw. Masunaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. That was a long pause. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan here of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. I wonder if the front of that business card is important. Well, you're clear. Very conscientious waiter. Minus the blood. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course, here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. I want to see what's on the back of the card. Or the front of the card, I guess. Must be something to do with that.
So, YMCA. The court has now heard precis of the case. Precis? What's with all the weird words? Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. Unsworn? But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue the matters further into this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. It's glaring at me. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. I feel like this screenshot right here captures their relationship perfectly. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring us out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Aochi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. Apologies if the video is doing wacky things like it is on my end. I think that's just gonna be what it does whenever it records. A little bit jolty. It's fine. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witness at once. Alright, I've adjusted my microphone slightly to try to get less air going on it. Let's keep going. Oh, right. Did I mention this during the Leighton one? There are 2 witnesses on the stand. That's a gimmick of this game. Multiple witnesses at the same time. Just like it was in the Leighton game. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayasa Noza. Ayasa Noza? Is a nosy? I don't know. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employed as purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasudai, a humble premises in the second district, Curio Korakuta. The Curio
Collect? Korakuta? I don't know. At your service. I'm relying on puns to help me pronounce these names. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curious, which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. Sorry guys, I can totally read, I'm fine. He obviously targets La Carnival because it is a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. Although to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his fireman, sir. Or fireman. Oh gosh. This man's impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Oh, I didn't catch it. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. I probably didn't catch it because my volume's down on my computer now, because whenever I was messing with the mic. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment he shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Yeah, Kazuma, didn't you see my wild eyes and cold sweats earlier? Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment the incident occurred. So, yes, sir. Standing by and ready to report, sir. I heard it that time, and I thought that's what it was. I remember it for some reason.
Unsavory memories of a most
acerbic afternoon. That poor guy's shaking over there. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel. From the back? Didn't the autopsy say, the post-mortem say from the front? And it didn't go through?
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
So he didn't see anything. Well, so you, Sergeant Noza, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. The wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
What times we live in when English gentlemen may be assailed in the broad light of day.
How many antiques do you have? But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up a gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. And then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you may exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Yay. Tutorial. Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there's no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It's time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this... I love how he doesn't point, he raises his hand. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands the right to a cross-examination. And dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it? How pathetic. How did he know? Because you are not a lawyer. The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. There's that perfect screenshot again. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Please stay with me forever, Kazuma. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witness. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Oh, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them meet you. I forgot about his pathetic slap. And how he looks at it like that. That was awesome. Alright then. It's all or nothing. So much for the banging your desk. Okay, so my number of mistakes are there. Okay, present. Gunshot to the chest. Again, no pointing, just raising your hand. And looking around wildly. What are you playing at, cadet? What's the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. Weak slap again. What nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I know the feeling. I wonder what his fan says. I think this proves beyond a doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. So frustrating. Yes, please help. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. I don't know, I think he might be, since Ryunosuke has to be the, ancestor to Phoenix, right? I'd say he could be the ancestor to Miles. Look at that pose. Look at his eyes. His eyes really tell it, and his whole hairstyle maybe a little bit. Kazuma, what
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense. There's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Yusanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... As it clearly states in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Photographic parent of the victim clearly shows the same thing. Oh, I could probably have showed either of those. Maybe. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain that?
What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Noza? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard had proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Yusanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
So much for your decisive proof, man. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either?
Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not, so I was far too busy on the floor.
On the floor? Oh, looking for his thing. That's right. Because that was more important than hearing a gunshot right next to you. Well, I guess they don't. It's an English firearm. Maybe they were not familiar with it and would flee in terror or anything. But the waiter came out anyway. Too busy on the floor. Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure. Whoa.
Indeed, the Hoyera Koban, my prized coin. Kaban? On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, It is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Bazute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was the military man that I proffered my Hoi treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a real rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. Did he steal it? The Koban. Oh, sorry, that's Algae. The Koban vanished. I'm mixing their voices. Hunting under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoi treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. Not until a lamentable day, the precious Hoi Koban was lost to me. No doubt a little scrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Oh, he thinks that he stole it. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to the Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What's your position, Prosecutor Alchi?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witness to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as carico glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting to testify, sir. Signal to testify. Don't mind the baby on the back. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Noza family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Aido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Aido, attention. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Even if what I saw was at the precise moment the firearm was discharged, is almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was. That young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Now, there was that woman, though.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. But how do I prove it?
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Oh. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table.
You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel?
Huh.
Yeah, there's really nothing I can do about that.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print. Maybe she didn't order anything. It would be reasonable to conclude the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
I don't understand. What's going on here?
It's just not possible that nobody else saw the woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to that restaurant alone as well.
But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we're able to telegraph the report to the great prison on time after all. The witness testimonies we just heard have no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh in the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I,
Takasuchi Ouchi? Takasuchi Ouchi?
will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires as an honor.
Oh yeah, look at all the Phoenix poses.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
I just noticed all the paperwork next to me on the stand there. Okay, I think this is the press everything time. It's not the same thing.
Yes!
I guess instead of hold it, I say yes. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time, but I told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously, as a culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed the gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears.
Full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor, picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the coat off the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as well. Or as a result, I guess I said. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the floor.
Okay.
Yes!
That's what I have a problem with. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing callous in my ear. But no No one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd be more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course, the place is almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at a time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. Oh, hey. More evidence. That's why you press things. What's that, Counsel? It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hot a clinic. Oh no. Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. Very day of the incident. So, the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. That explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, so it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Yes, always.
Yes! The more evidence, the better. Yes, do you have a question, Ryunosuke? If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence will be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend.
Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Alright, I feel like this is important. I feel like I should probably look at that. What we need right now are clues. Can I not look at it? No! We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Like that business card from before? Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival all ready for you. Well, perhaps you've forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Kurakuda-san.
Yes!
Just keep pressing these. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? Oh, his eyes are actually very clear. Not panic-stricken, looking all over the place.
That I did. And forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let's not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one.
Now, the antique dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Might as well press everything, so I should go back and press this one.
Yes!
And say that this is not the same thing. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire the gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Tension! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears in the very next moment. I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all. Don't you? I'm so confused. And let us not forget the antique dealer witnessed the accused in the most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korokuta-san? And then that's when he says that I was putting it. Okay, and then we go on. I think I already questioned that, therefore no other one. Yes! Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. They're not looking me in the eye. Fortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But I... Wait a second. The business card would have to be important in some way. Why does a waiter have a business card? Is there something going on here? If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. I'm out of options. If I can't look at the evidence. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Ouch. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gained some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings back any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see the medical report card you got before. You mean this? Yes, it's a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? Okay, if it's a magnifying glass, I can examine it. Take a closer look at the piece in question. Spin it around. Can I do that with a business card? I want to see what's on the other side of it. He seemed really nervous when he gave it to us. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use all of the buttons. Okay. Medical report card. Required for every visit. It says how to clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I ever had in my life. And I remember even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have only one cold in their whole life. To have had only one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. dentist. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. Probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. The family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors, huh? Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine. They give you painful injections. And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. All when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. A bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Alright, so it's a dentist. Okay, let's see what we got here. Here's the latest one. Let's look at this one. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Huh, there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? I mean, he had a tooth taken out. It seems so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. Not the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain. Oh, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure, until anesthetic effects have passed. Well, somebody didn't order food that day. It wasn't the woman. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. This new information, the meaning of the one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time to listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Is it this one? Because he was dining. It would have to be, right? Because it says dining.
Yes!
Yeah, there was even like a wine bottle or a juice bottle or whatever the Ace Attorney equivalent is on the table too, which she wasn't supposed to drink either. Well, I think, actually, before we do anything else, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yeah, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's this job title. His job? Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Blech. Inspector, what on earth? Why was there an inspector there? Was he like undercover for some reason? No idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence if they're wielding it somehow here. Okay, good. Good to update that. Very nice. Oh, here we go. Time of death after 2. Single bullet. Blitz trauma. No, I didn't want to. Okay, that's all stuff that we knew already. Ah, yes, we can examine my badge. My university pin. My personal student number is engraved on the back. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a UMI student at university. You may not come in, they say. Ah, it is you may. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you just tell them your number. I actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forget to not forget that. Symbol for UMA and University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like the spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges. Wow, how sharp is it? Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pen for a sharp mind or something? Okay. What was I saying? Oh, right, the dining thing. About what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles in their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully. You knew exactly what you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. A nice deep breath. There we go. Kurakuta-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. I see. And? I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what was written on this report card with your witness statement. It's still not forceful, though. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my word so soon, you amateur?
Sorry? What?
You're not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
But that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. No wonder he feels so intimidated. Everybody else is using clever language and fancy words. I can barely read the text.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies in the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have... That
was an actual slam. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that?
Thou burst out half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could I possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued this report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted?
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up here. No food or drink other than the water for 3 hours. Post-procedure, while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Kurakuta-san.
What, boy? What?
Oh, wow, I'm really combining him with Algae.
What, boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court, with unwavering self-confidence, that the victim was dining alone. Aha, there's the slam. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke?
Yes, most definitely.
Oh, not the eyes again. You're doing so well. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the picture of beef steak? Who was eating the picture of beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been me! As an as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was. Oh, hey, he actually said that. He said yes. I was like, yes, there was. Because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else eating it. Someone else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through the ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have an issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone, so if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury. And since it is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? Nah. Or no. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. Tactical meeting? I was just following orders. Orders? That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Who's they? Who? What? What did you just say, Kurikuta-san? No. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, order! Counsel, explain what's going on here. I don't think he knows. It's painfully clear now you tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. I mean... Oh. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouths shut? Well, it's classified. Oh no. His poor mustache. Ouch. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. Yeah, he doesn't look like he did. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. The government, military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas of who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence his witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. We need to name whoever it was to try to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his hero power here. But how can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? By looking at the evidence. We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found new clues or results. That's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have. We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we missed. Alright, I've re-examined the business card. We know that he's a policeman. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that the witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I know nothing. What does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, I have no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be... Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. If he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke, time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. Hey, I was making that mistake earlier too, because I was like, oh, I want to see the back. I mean the front. Beg your pardon. Or perhaps I should have said the front. There you go. Nice slide. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of this restaurant on the reverse side of the business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there on the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that he'd seen a foreign gentlewoman on the scene? Oh, well... Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized that was a possibility. it was a possibility. And that's why he was so nervous. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So you mean to say you really are a detective?
Why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Of course, your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover. Yes, there have been a series of incidents at that restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hazunaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence having served the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you require these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable.
As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. At the same time, the woman was right there. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. Okay. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those are my orders. From whom? But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman had been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the phantom woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yumei University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them studying in the Medical Faculty's Research Laboratory is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're a chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yuma University's medical facility.
What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence in the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well, my thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered from this premise, is false. That this premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain.
Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosanaka. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you're going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly.
So it won't be a problem?
It might be a problem. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett. To the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency.
Good. And we'll have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Well, so it begins. Yay. It's good to be back. But yeah, like I was saying, this is my second time playing, third time going through this, so I have the most familiarity with these cases. Second game in the series, I probably won't have as much familiarity, but it'll probably all come back to me. The overarching storyline and stuff are things that I remember. So this is going to be interesting to play through it with all of that knowledge in mind. Oh boy. But for you guys, it's brand new. So stay tuned. Come back next time for part 2 of Case 1. I'll talk to you guys then.